mom's dad, and, the other people's dad. What's his name? Help me. I'm forgetting.
Leslie.
Les. Yeah, Lester. And anyhow, I got it from Lester, your dad. He tells me all them stories. That's where I got most of them from. And he said he never sat down and talked to you kids. And she said no. Well, he did. He told them all. Betty knew it. Martha knew it. Junior knew it. You know Junior. That's Les too. His name's Les too. Junior. He's just a junior Les, a smaller one. Older Les was their dad. But that's what went on up there. And I said, well, what the hell? I told him, I said, why did he take that block of wood and kill this guy? He said, well, he was living with his sister, this guy was. And he lived up the road. But that was his sister that, married this guy. He wasn't married very long. Probably, what, a couple of weeks or a month. And he took that block of wood and killed him. Spent a year in the penitentiary. 1 year, that's all he served. And that was it. So that's why he killed this guy. He didn't want him sleeping with his sister because he slept with his sister. That's the whole point of the situation.
Oh.
That's what went on down there. But anyhow, the other reason is the house. I said, don't you remember the house you grew up in? A little kid? She said, no. Janie said, no, The only house she knew was the Hendershot house. It's the one you know about. It's in that picture that, it's over there behind that picture there somewhere. But anyhow, he, how the hell was that now? How can I explain it to you? Well, the Hendershot house. Now see, Jenny, I said, you must have been pretty young. I don't know how old you was when you moved. I said, can you tell me? She says, no. But she said, I don't remember it. Well, I said, well, Mom and Betty, that's my mom, I call her Mom. And anyhow, Mom and Junior and Martha, they're the main ones in the family that's older and knew all about the house they lived in. Well, the house is up there right straight across from that's Grandpa Charlie's house, Caldwell, Grandpa Charlie Caldwell. And that's Grandma's second husband, Grandma on Shady side, I'm talking about now. And that's her second husband. Well, nobody was in the house because Grandpa married Mom Junior and Jane Aline's grandma on Shady side, and he just traveled back and forth. And he used to shoe horses and stuff like that out there on Peavine for the neighbors. Put shoes on their feet. You know how to shoe a horse. Okay. So that takes care of that. And Jenny don't remember none of that stuff about living there. She said, well, how'd we move? I said, your family, the kids and all that was able to carry furniture, carried it down in their hands, Pick a table up or a couch, one on one end, one on the other. That's how they moved. And the mattress and stuff off the beds and stuff, they put it on top of Les's car. He had an old Chevy. Put it on top of that Chevy up on the roof of the car. And that's how he got the bed down there and stuff like that. That's how they moved. So it didn't cost them anything to move, really. They moved free of charge. But, and that was in, let's see, I'm still partially in the Navy. And that was, I got discharged in 45 and latter part of 45. So Jenny didn't remember none of that stuff. And she liked it so well when I'd come out there to see her. She was tickled to death that, she said, well, here comes old Bill in there. I want to see him. She wanted more stories told to her because she missed out on all these stories. And I said, Jenny, one reason you missed out on all these stories is because just as soon as school was out, I said, you spent a lot of time up in Bellsville, which is what? 8, 9 8 or 9 miles away. The bus had to travel, you know, to get there. And I said, you spent a lot of time with your friends up there in your class because you was into everything. She was blowing a horn and everything else. And I don't know what they call them damn horns. It's musical stuff in high school. And she was doing all this high school stuff and plays and this and that. And she was well acquainted with a couple of girls there that she would stay with. Well, she spent most of her time in Bellisville, and that's 8 or 9 miles away. Well, how would you know what the hell's going on at home? You wouldn't know. That's why, you know, she wanted me to tell these stories to her, because it's all new to her. And I said, you mean to tell me that you like this Hendershot house, that you remember you'd rather live there than you would in Grandpa Charlie's house? It's just a stone's throw up the road. She said, yeah. I said, well, Betty didn't. Betty didn't like this place. I said she wasn't here only one day a week. And she had to get in the car with her dad to go back to Shadyside because she was living with Grandma in Shadyside so she could go to work. She was working at the glove factory up Martin Strike. Then she quit that job later. She worked there, I think, about 6 years. Then the other 4, she worked at Boy Enamel, putting enamel on cans and stuff, like step cans. A lid pops up in the air and you put your papers and trash down in there, you know, and take your foot off of it, and that lid falls back down again. Well, Mom put rivets in there. Dodie's got the step can now that Mom put rivets in down her house. She took it from here, took it down there to her place. She wanted it, and she's got it in her bathroom down there. So she said, I like the Hendershot house the best. And I said, well, that must be the reason, because you wasn't old enough to know that you lived in that house up there at Grandpa Charlie's. Well, I knew it, and I'm just an in-law. What do you call it? Outlaw? Outlaw, in-law.
In-law.
In-law, outlaw. I think I called myself an outlaw. Oh, my God. Mom started to make a little song out of that. Me coming down that hill, that goddamn 2-ton GMC flatbed truck, 16-foot bed on it. I come flying down there like I was flying in the air. So one time I got down there to the hog pen. The hog pen's right on the corner of that road there, Rachel. And if you turn left, then you cross that little thing, then the ditch, then the house. You know, you had to go down that ditch to get up to the house. So anyhow, I come down there and slid. I started to make that turn around the wagon shed and the hog pen, going around that wagon shed. The road ain't very wide. You know how wide that road is, don't you? Length of this room, width of this room. It's not all the wide enough. Just wide enough for one car, because the other car had to go in the ditch if you're going to pass somebody. But that's how I got down there. And she wrote this song about Wild Bill, and everybody would say to her there in the house, they'd hear me coming. That truck made a lot of noise anyhow. And it was a 2-ton truck, so it was a pretty good sized truck. Had to be pretty good size. It had a 16-foot bed on it, you know, a flat bed. And anyhow, Mom put in that song, she says, look yonder coming down that Peavine Hill. Look yonder coming down that Peavine Hill. I'll be darned if it ain't old Bill coming down that Peavine Hill. She wrote that verse out. And I told her, I said, you just add another verse to that and I'll turn this music she sings to somebody else over willing to sing that thing over the radio. That was comic though. Mom got a big kick out of it. Making that song up like that.